Hey guys, welcome to the Chick update number 3, and we are on day 8 today. So I had a couple people ask some questions yesterday, so I wanted to answer them today. Somebody asked if since we are using the artificial heat source, we have our incubator, but Tammy has hers under a chicken. How does the chicken get the humidity? Does Tammy go out and put the water underneath the eggs, or how does that happen? And the answer to that is pretty easy. The chicken does it all. In natural heat sources, the chicken does it all. So she's not adding water. What is actually happening is as she sits on the eggs, her body humidity is what's regulating them. And yes, she gets up and she moves around. She's not sitting there the whole time. But when she sits there for the most of the time, that kind of will take care of that. Also, if you're wondering, I played with food coloring today, so I have food coloring all over my fingers. So yesterday we added water to increase our humidity, and we ended up getting it to 53%. It's still in our range of 45 to 55, but this morning we lost about 3%, so I'm going to just add a little bit more. I'm opening it up, and I'm just adding it into our middle of our tray, pouring it right down in there so that we continue to have that right humidity because we want these guys to hatch. So yesterday our chicks developed a beak and an egg tooth and a comb. Today, we asked this question yesterday, what do you think they're gonna develop? Today, they're developing feathers and feather tracks. So let's take a look. Now, day 8 looks like this. You can see it has a much more predominant beak. There we go. Its wings are getting more predominant. You can see its toes starting to develop. And if you look very carefully at the top of its head, up here, you'll see that little black spot. That is the comb up there. So it's developing all those things. So we'll see the feathers more so tomorrow because it's going to spend all day today working on developing those feathers. So if you were one of those people who said, I think it's going to get the feathers, you were definitely correct. So when these eggs hatch in 21 days, our little guys are going to look something like that. They're going to come out all wet and goopy. And what we'll do is we're going to leave them in the incubator for about a day so they dry off and puff up, and they're those cute little chicks like you all know. So let's see, there's one more thing I want to talk about today. Where did it go? Oh, here they are. I wanted to go over some of our vocab words again. So we've talked about these a couple times. We had the word incubator, incubate. Incubate's what we do when we put them in here, but this is the incubator. They're just chilling in there, and we do have our automatic turner, so they're not sitting still. We talked about the first day we put them in last Wednesday. We talked about that they were in the embryo stage that first and second day because they were just starting the development inside of the egg. Oh, this one's easy. The shell's the outside. It's hard. It's not edible. Remember how we talked about how these chicks, that egg, which we crack eggs all the time, that's what's keeping them safe. That's what's housing them. That's because they also has this membrane. It's that part that's down here in the picture. It's not hard. It's kind of squishy. It's almost like if you felt your ear. It's kind of like that. The word that Miss Tammy and Megan had to look up, chalaise. That's the part of the albumin that anchors the egg to the center. And remember, albumin is the white. It's the egg white. It's the part around it. And the albumin, it protects the yolk, which is where the chick is growing, but it also will provide some protein, just like the yolk does. So those guys, as you look in our picture, let me show you up our egg again. This is today. Do you see how there's less and less yellow? Or, well, the yellow is getting more and more dispersed is what I should say. Hold on. There's less of the albumin. And the yellow was the yolk. You guys gotta sit down for a minute so I can open these up. So that was day 1. It was the yolk was a nice circle with the white, the albumin around it. And now it's just all kind of that yellowy color. As our chicks grow, they're using the protein, so there's becoming less. And there's also less room in there, so the chicks are taking up more space. Now on Friday at 9:45, we're gonna do some candling of our eggs. And that means we are going to check out and see how many of our eggs have chicks growing. We'll be able to see that. They won't hurt them. We'll use flashlights and a candler, and we're gonna check out and see how many of our eggs are fertilized and are growing. So I hope you join us then, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.